What the is this garbage? Honestly, what is this card? What is this card? Okay, so this is the White House card. Freedom 250. This card has been hyped since June last year. I even posted a video about it when Trump started to talking about it in June last year. And this is it. Listen, for an ordinary card nowadays, Ilia Gaethje, and on the same card, Pereira, 3 division champ. We're gonna talk about that because it's really not 3 division because it's interim. We're gonna get to that. For a normal, for if this was any other pay-per-view, amazing gold. I would clap so much for the UFC. But for Dana to hype it up this much, listen, I thought about it last night when I went to bed. What everyone thought, like it was basically already confirmed that it was Ilia Gaethje. We all knew it. It was so obvious. We have seen so many reports of this being, probably even the main event, but definitely on the card. It fit perfectly with Ilia's comeback timeline. He said like April, June, somewhere in between there. So it fit completely with that. And Gaethje now being an American-born champ, it made all sense in the world because we don't have like lots of US champs or US contenders challenging for a title. So this was so obvious. Everyone talked about this. And the next one, Pereira and Gane. This was also the other one, like what people thought, we're probably gonna get, like realistically, like what we've heard, Ilia, Gaethje, Gane, Pereira, interim or undisputed. But we didn't know if we was gonna get any surprises. Like, this was the predictable stuff. The surprises and things, that was, will Conor return on this card? Will Jones return on this card? Will it be Jones Pereira? Will it be, they do Mcgregor Masvidal? Will Aspinall, with a surprise, be ready for this card? Would they do Ilia Islam? Or a crazy fight like Chimaev Pereira? It could have been so many different sorts of surprises and stuff, and this was no surprises. Exactly what we like. Yeah, this is probably what we like. We have all seen the reports. Is there anyone? I'm not blaming you specifically if you haven't heard about this, but I would imagine most of you guys that watch this have seen the reports. So Pereira Gane is very likely to happen, and of course Ilia Gaethje almost like confirmed. So for me, this almost didn't even feel like a big announcement. This was like, yeah. So for being hyped since June, I think this is, as this big, insane card. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm disappointed. Any other card, amazing. For the White House card, that was good. Listen, honestly, I should have known. Dana did the exact same thing 2 years ago for UFC 300. He hyped it like the main event would be something we have never seen before. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. And back then, Alex Pereira had just got the light heavyweight title. Alex Pereira wasn't this massive star. During 2024, he really became a bigger name and a more household name, or outside the casual, however you want to word it, with him stepping up for 300. Which of course gave him a big spotlight, but when it got announced as the main event, it wasn't anything special at all. Then, saving the Mcgregor card, knocking out, head-kicking Yuri like he did, then how he beat up Khalil, and then how he took back the belt from Ankalaev. All that stuff happened after 300, so at the time, like, that was nothing special at all. And for Dana and even some fans looking at this, like, oh, this is something like we've never seen before. Dude, go back to 2009. UFC 100, you had Brock Lesnar in the main event, the biggest star who sold a mil pay-per-view buys. Like, it was McGregor before McGregor, but McGregor, of course, sold more and more consistent. So it was Brock, this huge star, crossover star, WWE, UFC, in this big feud, this big rematch for the heavyweight belt with Frank Mir. And then in the co-main, you had George St. Pierre versus a dangerous contender in Thiago Alves. So you had GSP and Brock. It's not like we've never seen a big double headliner before. So this is Gaethje and Ilia. And Pereira, like, Brock and GSP is bigger than Ilia and Pereira on the same card. I'm not trying to devalue this. I'm just trying to, so people realize that it's just a disappointment. Sorry for being negative. I saw other people like Guru and people being hyped about this card. And like Ariel Helwani said, in the bubble, this is a 9 out of 10. And I get what he means. In the bubble, not looking at this as a White House card, just as a card, this is great. But this is the White House card, hyped for ages. I'm disappointed because it's no surprises. We basically knew the two title fights. It was like no surprises for me. Sorry. But let's look at the card, the rest of the card. You know what? I'm gonna be positive. Now I've shit on it. Let's actually look at the card. So the main event. Ilia Gaethje, great fight, love the fight. Of course, honestly, I would have been more hyped about this fight if Gaethje's last fight was like the Fischer rematch and not the Paddy fight, because I thought Gaethje looked like a terrible bum that you would see in like a bar, like, you know, a really low ranked, not even lightweight. Like I thought maybe he fought like that because he thought like that would be the best way for him to beat Paddy, or maybe it was because of the staff, and like there could be other things. Who knows if he had staff. But I just thought Gaethje looked dog shit. Ilia's gonna beat him up so bad, and Ilia after last night with Oliveira and Max, Ilia looks incredible. Like, how did he deal with Oliveira that easy? And this is not a case where where Oliveira improved so much after the Ilia fight. No. He, after the Arma fight, he really looked like he became stronger, put on some muscle, became just a better, more powerful, dominant wrestler. Because he dominated Chandler for 4 rounds with the wrestling. Then he got smoked by Ilia. Then he took down Gamrot and subbed him. Very, very impressive to do that to Gamrot. And then dominated Max for 5 rounds. So, Ilia looks even better now. So, this is a... kind of feels like a layup. But a great fight. And an American champion in the main event. So, good. Great main event. Ilia will smoke him. Co-main event. Alice Pereira, Ciryl Gane. I hate that it's for the interim heavyweight title, because I talked about this in my, not last video, right? But second to last video, when I talked about, if Jones was returning, Pereira moving up, some stuff. There's a really good chance Pereira beats and even finishes Gane. The problem is, he won't be a 3-division champion. We all know, every single fan, like everyone agrees, that becoming an interim champ means nothing. No one looks at Gaethje any way different now compared to before he got the interim belt, because the interim belt doesn't mean anything. We doesn't look at Dustin or Gaethje as the champ, the undisputed champ, or Shane Corwin, or Nogueira, or Ciryl Gane, or other interim champs. So him beating Gane, the thing that of course it will add to Pereira's legacy to go up to heavyweight, become the interim heavyweight champion, and being like a 2.5 division champ, beating Gane, especially when Aspinall struggled, not got dominated, but he struggled. He was competitive first round. I don't want Pereira to beat Gane, become the interim heavyweight champion, then go on and lose to Tom, let's say, and never then get the undisputed belt, because then it will be this. It will be this discussion: was Pereira a 3-division champ? Was he not a free? And that will go on to until death, to Pereira, until Pereira retires, until all fans die or stop paying attention to the UFC or whatever, loses interest. So that's the thing that I hate about. But I wasn't gonna be negative. I'm gonna try to be positive still. Great main event, Ilia Gaethje, good fight. And listen, this great fight great fight, really fascinating fight. As soon as a few months ago, people started to talk about Pereira and Gane at heavyweight. I immediately went, wow, like, yeah, not this heavy grappler, like a big heavyweight sized, arguably best mover in heavyweight history, kickboxer versus like the greatest kickboxer in UFC MMA history. So really fascinating fight, and it would be really epic to see Pereira, if he wins, become the interim heavyweight champion. I think I'm leaning towards Pereira. I mean, against Ciryl Gane, like we will say, this is not a prediction video, of course, but I'm kind of leaning Pereira. Like, Pereira is good, man. He's really good. See how okay, tell me, it's fine. This one, O'Malley on the, listen, credit where credit is due. Sean O'Malley fits perfectly on the what is it? The White House card. Is he the biggest US star in the UFC? Dude, I'm just gonna see. Is my camera off? No? Is it good? I'm just gonna see quick here. Yeah, so it's good, right? Oh. Anyway, so Sean O'Malley versus Ariel Helwani Sahabi. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, yeah, because the biggest stars now in the UFC is like, Ilia, Islam, Pereira, Shimaya, yeah, so no US guys, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, is O'Malley, like, if you look at social media numbers, stuff like that, is he a bigger star worldwide or whatever than Usman? I mean, do we really count him as, he's more an African, but, I mean, Sean Strickland and stuff, I don't know, but definitely one of the biggest. Sean O'Malley on the card, great. Honestly, I would have. They're probably giving him Sahabi because he should beat the living shit out of Sahabi. He sucks, and then you can definitely. What is the word I'm looking for? Then you can definitely, like, legitimately give him a title shot as a deserving contender. You know what I mean? Instead of the close fight with Song Yadong that many people even argued that he lost, and now actually being on a 2-fight win streak over 2 like top contenders. But they had like several options. I even have the rankings up here. You could have done Umar, very obvious. The even more obvious US versus US, Corey Sandhagen. So Umar or Sandhagen would have been much better just for the fans. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Like, they could have done, moving someone way up, like they did with O'Malley against Peter Yan. Doing Peyton Talbot versus Sean O'Malley would be cool. But yeah, both Umar and Corey Sandhagen would have been better. But yeah, Sean O'Malley on the card, great. The fight in itself, Sean O'Malley, I will probably dust him. This one, like, okay, as I said, I was gonna be positive. And this is not me faking. I think this is a sick fight. I love this fight, and I can imagine. I mean, Michael Chandler is kind of one of those goody two shoes, American born, positive, like guys you would have seen in like being an action movie star or movie star in like the I don't know 70s, 80s, whatever. So he kind of fits like an American stereotype, like the American meathead good guy. I'm bleeding on my finger, but yeah. So honestly, sick fight, and I can imagine that Michael Chandler liked this fight, and was like, dude, I definitely accept this because he saw what Benoit Saint-Denis did to this guy. He saw that he was a great, dangerous striker against Fiziev, but probably saw some big holes that, like, we don't know how well Ruffy have improved the grappling since the Benoit Saint-Denis fight. But I can definitely imagine Michael Chandler. What do I want to say? Yeah, looking at this, I gotta take this guy down, beat the shit out of him, and do it for America, for Trump. Yeah. So really good fight, and listen, I'm going with Ruffy on this one. He's a sick striker. I think he can read Chandler and start to beat the shit out of him. He was very patient against Fiziev. I don't know if he would have the same kind of game plan, being on the back foot, patient, picking his shots against Fiziev, and then landing the killer blow in like the second, third round or whatever. I can definitely see it being much earlier. Dude, my fingers bleeding so much. I can definitely see it being earlier against Chandler because he's so reckless. And listen, can he go in with the grappling and do some stuff? Absolutely, but he will also a good chance that he's gonna show off, of course, both in the striking, but go in there and try to do this big ragdoll moves, suplex, and yeah, I definitely think Ruffy would be the smarter fighter and beat up Michael Chandler. This is just a waste of a spot. Bo Nickel again. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Bo Nickel probably. And this one, am I the only one that has Diego Lopez fatigue? I don't want to see. I'm honestly after the rematch with Volk. I mean, credit on him for being active. Compare him to Yair, cut Yair. But yeah, I don't give a shit. Honestly, it will probably be a good explosive fight. But every time nowadays, it seems like we say, "Oh, this fight will be a banger." We said the same thing about O'Malley Song Yadong. Oh, that will be a killer. It wasn't. It wasn't a banger. It feels like we'd be disappointed. The BMF fight happened last night. Oliveira Max. Wow, what a banger. So yeah, I don't want to say Lopez, but the fight in itself should be a banger. Garcia, Lopez, good strikers, powerful. Yeah, good stuff. So the card in itself, yeah, could be much better. Like, when I'm thinking, that's actually why I had the rankings up. So if we look here, O'Malley was a good choice. If you think just big names and American, I mean, they could have had Sterling, but that's not like, I'm not blaming them for not having Sterling. Especially if they... Wait, did they put fights on that will be like guaranteed good fights? The title fights, yes. Why did I just take it off? But O'Malley would do a good striking performance on Sahabi, so that would be good, of course. Chandler Ruffy would be sick. Or Nickel would... Who knows with that? So honestly, Bo Nickel, like the only fight that feels like could be a bit I don't even know how the crowd, will it be a real crowd? So I don't know if, even if it's a good fight, will we get that kind of hype, people, yeah, whoa. I don't think so. It will be so weird. We will see. But for the White House card, I think like there was some obvious ones. Let's say, I mean, Moicano's... Listen, I'm not shitting on everything. O'Malley and Chandler, good choices. But like this, Usman, I mean, who's an American, represent the US, big name. Like, why not put Usman versus Prates on there? That would have been perfect. I know they booked JDM and Prates, so Usman, Michael Morales. That would be sick. Or do the grudge match, Belal versus Usman. I mean, Brady could have been on the card. Like, dude, honestly, why wasn't Colby on the card? Put Colby against... Okay, I know they booked Burns, but what, like, Colby versus Burns would have been a great fight to have on the White House. Or I know some guy put Wonderboy versus Colby. Great matchup to Americans. Colby versus... Yeah, I mean, could have done something like Brady versus Usman, Brady versus Colby, if they want to if they want to guarantee some American wins. But I think Usman and Colby was kind of big missed opportunity. Even if they wanted to do the trilogy, I would be kind of hyped for Colby and Usman. Honestly, why not do Chimaev versus Strickland? Maybe they are afraid of Strickland getting ragdolled, but that's actually a title fight you could kind of... what is the word I'm looking for, like before? That's a title fight you could... Yeah, like that you could really argue, like, is the one that's deserving. Like, people argue, Imavov is on a winning streak, but Strickland beat Imavov and just beat Fluffy and, beat Allen, who's number 4. So I think Strickland in a title fight or not was a big missed opportunity. Could have done Strickland Adesanya 2, Strickland Imavov 2. Yeah, I mean, I feel, you know, when I don't say every one of these, but when I look at guys like Usman, Colby, Strickland, and then you look at like Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia, why? Bo Nickel, why? Chandler makes sense. But yeah, like if you took away Lopez, Garcia, and Nickel, you could have replaced that with a Usman fight, a Colby fight, a Strickland fight, or like one of those. Keep Bo Nickel and replace Diego Lopez even. Like I don't need to see him. Even like a Whittaker coming back at light heavyweight. Looking at, I don't know what heavyweight. Yeah, I think that's enough. They could have done way better. And speaking of the surprises and everything with Jones, let's finish off with this because Dana actually covered some stuff here about Jones. We'll see what he said here.
There is speculation, of course, that it's Jon Jones.
No, it's not.
Was Jon
Ever, which I told you guys 100,000 times, was Jon Jones even remotely in my mind to fight at the White House? I wouldn't. First of all, I've told you why I wouldn't do it. And number two, some guy with, meta glasses on filmed him talking about his hips, that his hips are so.
But the thing is, Dana said something else in the press conference. You can look it up if you want, but he said something that I don't know if he said. Anyway, I think he said or something else. They were in negotiations, and Dana had offered big money. I think he said it in the same press conference. But they didn't come to so they had been in negotiations, but we know with Dana he flips back and forth, says one thing, contradicts himself, so that's normal Dana shit. Dude, I'm talking so long, okay. But also I get totally that you wouldn't want him main eventing the White House card. Totally get that. Or maybe not, because if you did him versus Pereira, it would be odd probably to then have Ilia Gaethje in the main event. But you could still have Jones on the card, but also, yeah, Jones shouldn't be rewarded, but also at the same time, you have to pick and choose, because yeah, good, now you're not rewarding Jones, but you're also giving us fans a not super exciting White House card, very expected, some weird fights. But he started to talk about his what is it called?
About his hips, that his hips are so bad. And I don't know if you guys saw that flag football game where he can barely run. Jon Jones he retired because of his hips. He's got arthritis in his hips. Add that on top of all the other reasons that I wouldn't. The Jon Jones thing is bullshit. I'm not saying they weren't talking to Jon Jones and that Jon Jones wasn't interested in the fight.
Exactly.
And what was even crazier is Jon Jones came out and was like, I'm in negotiations right now for the White House fight, after I had already sent a text to his lawyer saying, never going to happen ever.
Is it fair to say then Jon Jones is retired and this is the end of his time?
Yes.
Okay.
Very fair.
There is speculation, of course, that it's Jon Jones.
No, it's not.
Was Jon
ever.
This is over. Yeah, so Dana says Jon Jones will never fight for the UFC again. I don't know if he said that, but yeah, there you have it. Many different reasons. Sorry, I got tired in the head. But once again,
which I
what
told
the first
you guys
thing
100,000 times, was Jon Jones even remotely in my mind to fight at the White House? I wouldn't. First of all, I've told you why he wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, we basically know. I think Dana, honestly, his heart got broken by his pookie boy, Gay faggot, Jon Jones, his boyfriend. After all the Tom Aspinall thing, I think Dana was kind of I know Jones. I'm giving him the fight he really wants with Stipe, and he will pay me back because of this, and do the Tom Aspinall fight. I give him the Stipe fight, he gives me the Tom Aspinall fight, and then even Jones said and promised or whatever it was. They had a handshake deal a year ago or something, and So yeah, so Dana was like 100%. You saw for months. Yes, Jones is confirmed. Yes, Jones is gonna fight Tom Aspinall. 100%. Like Dana was sure. And then out of nowhere, Jones was like, no. You know, they offered him, what was it, 30 mil or something last year. Dana confirmed it. They offered him 30 mil. Jones never argued against it. So it definitely was 30 mil. That's a fact. And yeah, they had agreed to them. Of course, Jones, as we know, when he said 30 mil, he was 100% sure that the UFC probably wasn't even gonna offer him 20-25. Like he was, they would never offer it, so I can use that as an excuse. Because he never wanted to fight Aspinall, because he would get his fucking ass beat. And I know you can say about the Ciryl Gane fight. Listen, first of all, Ciryl Gane defended the takedowns by eye-poking Tom Aspinall. Of course, Jon Jones could have done the same thing, but also if Jones did the same thing, he wouldn't have beaten Aspinall. It would have ended in a no contest as the Gane fight did. But the thing is, listen, look how Jones looked against Stipe. Barely couldn't move, walk like this, like they look like two old men. He got peppered up several times by Aspinall. Tom, who moves like he does, he would have such a slow, almost still, easy target to bam bam like he did. Jones wouldn't just be able to, for example, take a hold of Tom and slam him down. Never. Like you had a big, strong, great grappler who's faster, more powerful, younger, all that. The reason why it was harder, of course, for Tom to deal with someone like to hit even someone like Gane, it's of course because Gane moves great, of course. And listen, you can say all day, oh, Jones, look what Jones did to Gane compared to Aspinall. First of all, that was 3 years ago. Gane could definitely have improved his grappling defense, how he moves, all that. And you don't know about injuries going into fights and all that. And what was the other thing? Yeah, it's just styles makes fights. I'm not saying, listen, maybe Jones is better at grabbing a hold of someone and take someone down compared to Aspinall. I'm not saying that every single thing under the sun Tom Aspinall is better at than Jon Jones. I'm not saying that, but styles makes matchups. And maybe Gane is an easier fight for Jones than it is for Tom Aspinall. But that still doesn't mean that Tom doesn't destroy Jones. So anyway, yeah. Basically, Jones broke Dana's trust last year, retired out of nowhere, and it got announced right at the post presser at UFC Azerbaijan. So what was my point? Yeah, so like he doesn't trust Jones, and if he's gonna come back, he's definitely not trusting him to putting him on the White House card with all on the line. If Jones does something stupid, PDs, pull out, and it makes sense. It makes sense. So that's where we're gonna end this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Not at all as long as the other ones. Is it 30 minutes? I will say. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I think there's at this side now videos you can check out. Hopefully you like. Yeah, comment down below what you think about the White House card. Are you disappointed? Are you happy? What do you think about the fights? About Ariel making his debut on the card? And yeah, all this stuff. Should Jones be on the card? Tell me down below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Peace.